amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. I appreciate you wherever you are connecting from. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much and remain blessed.
It's Dr. Ahmed. You being in the National Assembly as a technical advisor and, to a former Senate president. So you understand a lot of issues. Give me your understanding of how or what role the issue of religion is playing. Can a Muslim ticket or a Christian ticket fly in Nigeria of today? The youth wing of the Christian Association yesterday won and said, look, if anybody does a Christian ticket or Muslim ticket, that party will fail. What are your views?
Well, I think there's a lot of deception here, which has gathered momentum as politicians began to learn more and more of the weaknesses of ordinary Nigerians. 99% of us as ordinary Nigerians are devout Christians and Muslims. We care very deeply about personal faith. We care about the fortunes of our faith. We don't like to be attacked or affected because we are Christians or Muslims. And by and large, in most instances, our faith is safe. Politicians use faith and other forms of identity politics to race for power. This is basically what it is. And it's becoming clearer and clearer and clearer that every time politics comes in, religion surfaces as a factor. And what it does is it creates this idea that Nigerians will fight because the deputy, the vice president is not a Christian or a Muslim. We won't. We would not fight because if you go down in history, there is not a single thing that any Christian has benefited from the times when either a Christian was a president or a Christian was a vice president. There's nothing that a Muslim has benefited from because the president is a Muslim or he's a vice president. But when you hear them talk now, it's as if it's central to your being a Muslim or being a Christian if your so-called man is not in the presidency. It's nonsense. It's the most deceptive thing politicians do, and what is even more damaging is that they're making it worse now, at precisely the time when we need to have quality leadership. Good people emerge, irrespective of their faith, who would govern this country and pull it out of this the quagmire that we're in. Politicians are bringing in all these factors that are specifically targeted at giving them, the few of them, certain advantages. That's basically what it is. Like I said, Christianity does not suffer because the president is not a Christian. President Buhari has not done a single thing that has benefited a single Muslim in the last 7 years. For the entire 8 years that Obasanjo was president, not a single thing was done. And I was part of his government. I was a permanent secretary for the entire period there. I didn't see a single thing that he did that you could say specifically benefited the Christians of Nigeria. I didn't see that. And it's the same thing with all the way through. And now you hear these people talk, it has to be a Muslim ticket. The ordinary Nigerian doesn't care. That is the honest truth. Well, I'm telling you, I come from the Northwest. The Northwest is being targeted as the most populous zone, but you must get the religious balance right. You must get this right.
And I asked him because this question, which I'm going to also ask
I'm a member of the PRP.
in relation to what
the argument
ordinary delegates
APC that we got together in
those who feel the platforms or the alternative political parties that Nigeria should look towards them other than PDP and APC.
Who our flag is shown?
According to those critics, both parties are try them.
We just simply ask ordinary folks who are delegates.
I'm a Democrat.
Or from each
and
local
I believe in democracy.
Who do you
people
want
have the
out
right
of
to
these
say
four
whatever
people?
they want to say.
Some of them,
for the benefit of their
most
interests
of
in
them,
politics.
Who do you
I
want to fly
believe
the flag?
that Tinubu will do better.
The bulk of the people are from the north.
I equally
Majority
acknowledge
are Muslims.
the fact The government of President Muhammad Buhari is not a saint. That's his own attendant failure,
on their own,
which is accepted by me.
But the politicians are playing a game with the faith and the intelligence and the future of our people.
One thing about democracy, in my own opinion, is when there is continuity, definitely problems are going to be solved. And if Tinubu is allowed to continue from where President Muhammad Buhari will stop, we are going to do better. And a lot of issues that President Muhammad Buhari becomes able to address, I am very sure that the government of APC will address.
So
but
those
to
who are
say that
considering it
PDP
are not
and
lying to
APC
themselves, are they?
are not whatever, then we should look for a third-party option.
If religion
It's
was such a
democracy.
dominant
At the end
factor
of the
in
day,
terms
it is
of
the
how
people who
Muslims
vote.
and
It is the
Christians live all
power
the time,
that
we'll be
people
fighting
will
each other
donate to
every single day.
whosoever they want to donate.
Every single day, we'll be fighting
is it true that
I
your
didn't
party
get
is
anything because
considering
I'm
a
a Muslim.
Muslim
We
ticket?
come from the north. My brother
And
here
I'm
and
not
I come from
supporting
the north.
that.
He's Christian, I'm a Muslim. Every once in a
What
while
if
we have
that's the
clashes.
decision
Sometimes a lot of
of,
these clashes that you
well, the
see
candidate,
are between
because the
communities that
candidate is
are either
incumbent on
entirely
him
Christian
to choose a
or
running mate.
sometimes
Yes,
Muslim.
it is his own right to choose
Sometimes in
whosoever
a
he
few
wants to
instances
choose
like we've seen
for
in the last few
benefit
days in
of winning
Adamawa,
election.
in Gombe,
But again,
in Bauchi,
if
they
he does
involve
that,
Muslims and Christians. If
some
you go
of
down
us
to the bottom
will
of it, it has
respect
nothing
his
to do with the
right for
church
doing
or the
that.
mosque.
But I don't think we are fair to even
Let me bring in
Bola Ahmed Tinubu
Mr.
to be arrogating
Does- I
the
mean, you are a
intention of
member of
running
the
a
APC,
Muslim
right?
ticket to him.
How-
I believe in Nigeria.
How much
And I am
of
ready to some
effect
extent
does the
that
issue of
I don't
religion
forget
balancing
about the
does for your
5
party,
national
or is for your
objectives.
party?
A just and egalitarian
one
society,
thing is that
a
a
free
political party
and
can
democratic
choose a path
society,
to
a
win an
united,
election.
strong and self-reliant nation,
And
a
howsoever
land
they
of
choose,
bright
it
and
might
full
be
of
their best
opportunities for
strategy
all
for
citizens,
doing that.
a great and dynamic economy
And
they
that
are
path
there.
that they choose
So I
may not
respect
reflect the
the
true
5
spirit
national objectives.
and intendment
Building
of the
on that
Constitution. That is
is
what
just
is
like
called
religion.
national
And the Muslim.
objective, which was
Islam is built
formulated
on
immediately
justice.
after
The 5
Civil
national
War.
objectives talk about a
The
just
idea
and
behind the
egalitarian
national
society,
objective
a land
is to
of bright and
reflect the
equal
true spirit of
opportunities
the
for all
Constitution,
citizens.
so that
If
there
you
will
look
be
at
a
the dissension,
reflection
issues of
inclusiveness,
trust among Nigerian
diversity,
people, you will not
sense of
contemplate talking
belonging.
about
And the idea behind that is so that
So you
every
agree
part
with
of
the Christian
Nigeria,
Association of
everybody
Nigeria
will feel
that says,
this is our own.
if
That's why
you
when you hear
go by
politicians
a
talking, they will say
Christian
this
ticket or
country belongs to
Muslim-
all of
Muslim
us.
ticket, any
Why
party
is the mention
does
of
that is going to fail?
Because it is meant to
I
reflect
agree with their fact
the
that
spirit and
we shouldn't
intendment
do
of the
that.
Constitution.
But
Now,
winning or not
when
winning,
you talk about
it's not within
competence
our
and you
power
try
to
to
say
make the
that I'm
case
going
that
to
it
fail or I'm going
overrides
to win.
some of these
God
other
gives power to
considerations like
whosoever
religion.
he so
So
desires.
those
You can
who have
pick
said
one tribe
should
in
your party
Nigeria,
go Muslim,
and from
Christian,
that tribe you can
might
get
not be able to
competent
get
people
the
and
northern
appoint
vote
president,
if you go
vice
with
president,
It's not
senate
true.
president,
I don't believe in
deputy
that.
senate president,
The same
speaker,
those that
deputy,
says
and
we should go for
all
Muslim
the DGs
ticket
of
in our
parastatals
party
in that one
are
tribe,
those
and they will
that
be
say that
competent
the zoning,
and they will
the
rule the
presidency
country
should be zoned to
effectively.
the south.
But
They
does
are
that
basing their
reflect the
argument of
spirit
Muslim
of the
ticket on
Constitution?
competency
Now,
and
when you bring
capability
it down
to
to
deliver.
our political party,
Are they telling me
you
that
see,
the
political
Christians have no
party are
competent
vehicle through which
people to
power
be the
is
running mate
attained
to
for the
Asorock Bola
purposes
Ahmed
of
Tinubu?
implementing
Are they
the
saying that the
Constitution.
Christians have no capacity?
There are certain
people
things
have
that
the
are not
capacity
expressly
to be running
mentioned in the
mate?
Constitution,
What I
but
am-
they are the
what they are
reflection of the
capacity
spirit
or the
of the
reality of
Constitution.
our
Above
political
all,
numbers
that is
in this country. You are from the
diversity,
northern region.
inclusiveness,
You are from the
national
north central, a
integration,
swing
and
region of the
sense of
country.
belonging
But
by
swing
everyone.
votes almost
It is
every
not to be
election.
said.
We're
It must
talking
be
about the
seen
northwest and the
to be
northeastern
in
region of the
effect
country.
by the form of
Where
man
the
of
Islamic
society.
religion
So
takes
how do I bring
the
it to our
vote based
party? I
on
did a
religion?
video immediately
Vote
after
is based on your
Asorock
capacity.
But is it not true
flag
also?
bearer.
Let me give you
And in that
example.
video I made
about-
clear
about-
my
about-
position
about
or
what should
opinion
be.
regarding
We're talking
the
about
Muslim
what the reality
Muslim
is.
ticket and
That
Muslim
That
Christian.
religion
And I laid the
has
background.
played a major
That,
role in the
for
politics
example, now
of
the vice president is
northeast
coming
and the
from the
northwest of
north.
Nigeria.
Most
I
likely
agree
the
with
party
you.
may move it to the
In
northeast.
deliverance of
But the north is
votes,
one,
when you are
but
talking
consists
about
of
votes,
tribes and religion.
you are now talking about the
Now,
capacity
because
of
the
individuals to
presidential
mobilize people
candidate
to
is from the
convince people
south
to
and a
vote for
Muslim,
them. I am a member
historically
representing
in Nigeria,
Panshin,
it
Kanke,
is
Federal
only
constituency.
necessary
Three
that the
local
vice
governments
presidential
from Plateau.
candidate should be a
In
Christian.
those three local governments,
So some
Muslim
people make the
constitute
case that
only
it doesn't
perhaps
really matter.
30%, and
And some
Christians
people
are
make the
about
case that,
70%.
look, if you take a
I won
Christian,
election,
we will not
I
win the
won
election.
primaries again, I'm
Sadly
coming for
enough,
second time.
those who
So it is
advocate
not
that
being
are
Muslim or
stakeholders that are
Christians that give
supposed to
vote.
promote
The
that
ability of the
and then
people
put
to
their
understand
heads
what
and
a
their
leader
hearts
is
to
providing
make sure
to
it
them
works.
and
Because it
their
happened
belief
just 2
in that
weeks ago.
person is what
when
will
the
be able
party
to
chairman said,
Muslim, would
I
it
make
hurt
a
your-
determination,
It will hurt me
this
as
is the
an
consensus
individual.
candidate.
chances of
And
your
the party,
party?
they say party is
Definitely.
supreme.
Yeah, it's
Let me
not
show
about-
you
but
the-
Kwame,
Governors
There's
came
the
together and
possibility
said,
of
no, we
those-
don't believe in
those
that.
whose names have
For
been
the purposes of
mentioned.
cohesion, it has to go to
Those
the
whose
south.
names have been
And
mentioned
they made
in
clear,
your
they
party,
talked about fairness,
the likes
equity, and
of the
justice.
former SGM,
Why did they do that? They are
Babachi
trying to
Lawal, the
reflect
governor of
the spirit of the
Bor-
constitution, even though it
Borno
is not
State,
in the constitution.
Babangana Zulum,
So it behoves of the same set
the
of
former
people
governor of,
to look inward, and now that it
Borno
affects
State,
their
Kashim
own region, to
Shettima,
say
the governor of Yobe
we should
State,
even show
the
that
governor of
charity
Kaduna
much
State.
more
These
at
are
home.
some
Let me
of the
tell you
names
something,
that have been
if you don't
mentioned.
mind. Sir Ahmadu Bello, the Sardona of Sokoto, was the father of the Northernization philosophy and agenda. And he built that philosophy and agenda on the notion that a Northerner, irrespective of his religion,
I try as much as possible to avoid mentioning names,
and has access to equal opportunity with others for the purposes of shared prosperity.
The Muslim ticket is not an
issue. It demonstrated that in leadership. There was no distinction between Christians and Muslims, and that is why around the time, the North, even the British government, could reckon with that. Over a period of time, this philosophy got diluted by politicians because of selfish interests. So much so that now there is a division. That, for example, Buhari would be needed to pursue the cause of the Northern agenda.
Should not be zoned
but
to
when
the
it
southern
comes
part
to
of the
sharing
country,
of equal opportunity, then my brothers in the North will say, voila,
and capability
whether
to win.
expressly or impliedly, you can get it because it's a game of numbers. I expect that the governors are the ones that will say, look, for equality, for equity, it should be another Christian, and we will be on the field.
Right, so why is he not believing that there is supposed to be fairness in the other religions?
I do not agree, but let me make the point.
If we want, it's not about winning. My own contest, my own opinion is not about winning. Yes, you can do Muslim ticket and win, but how can you rule harmoniously?
And the choice of who he chooses is discretionary.
What I am looking for,
can the party prevail on?
is to form a government that at the end of the day he will
but the discretion is absolutely
uniting this country.
But what happened is that now everybody is engaging. We are all providing
Yusuf Gandhi, member of the House of Representatives, representing Plateau State
in Madrid, it is not so much of a because he has demonstrated diversity all through his life. Look at Lagos, his wife is a pastor. He doesn't have that problem. If you take, if my northern leader say this is a Christian candidate, as what you will recommend that you take him, he will take it. And that is why, in my view, Mr. President, who has in 2014,
the only thing worse than an hypocrite is a liar that's also
this is
a
the time for him to
balance. So let me ask you,
as we approach the 2023 general election, I want to ask, why was it possible for the Soroseke cronies to organize the NSAS protest so well, they can't galvanize themselves into a formidable political force to be reckoned with?
The
and the younger
Muslims
generations
agree with the vision and go to fight for him on the
is
basis
it lack
of
of
equality,
focus,
fairness,
foresight,
and inclusivity.
laziness,
so let me come back to Dr. Akim Ahmed.
Now, the mouth not too young to rule or wrong. They're not ready to come together and support any credible young person without large financial pockets or money to share. Is that not hypocrisy?
So that narrative
we complain about how government and their political allies instructed soldiers to fire live ammunition at defenseless protesters during NSAS protests, but willingly gather and chant slogans in support of the same politicians for campaign. Youth volunteer for Tinubu, Youth Arise for Atiku, Buhari Youth Vanguard, Oshibanjo Youth Movement. Frankly, I don't have another word for you but hypocrisy. We complain about the cost of nomination form for APC and PDP, but small political movement or civil society where we form, small money when we gather to manage or share our problem, groups scatter, others go form their own. No unity of purpose. How are we different
because
from our
what
politicians?
is playing out?
You tell me Peter Obi or Kingsley Moghalu or Fela Durotoye or Yaya Bello is a good candidate to govern Nigeria. They turn around to say,
you're focusing on these
no go win, as you no get structure. Forgetting saying now you be the structure where they move. Stop being hypocritical. If you put your money where your mouth is, then
I'm telling you, ordinary Nigerians
you're a business person ready to dole out bundle of cash at parties and events while complaining about harsh economic environment in Nigeria. Yet not ready to deploy same resources to strengthen or support credible candidates or parties, apart from the same APC and PDP. If you know the hypocrisy, then I don't know what
people are wiser now.
You are there shouting, politicians are thieves, stealing our money, but you are ready to compromise any process to make money, and you go shamelessly, come out tight
to Muslims and Christians,
thinking you feel bright.
If
NYC
a political party
is your case.
Willing to,
now you're suffering
field a northerner because it believes
the notorious fact that politicians steal, kill, maim, snag ballot buses just to win elections. Do they do these things themselves?
In my state, in Kaduna, let me remind you that we had a governor who won an election.
If you say no
and
I say no,
population
it
is
will
in a
stop,
minority.
as they won't find anybody to use. So let's stop all of this hypocrisy and act.
In Kaduna, from
you are a pastor selling master key, olive oil, holy water, anointing, prayer, blessings, and power.
So, and
Kaduna is the front line of telling people to pray instead of working or pay tithe instead of taxes. Yet blame politicians for stealing or deceiving people.
Yes, why not?
I beg, remove the speck in your eyes.
I will only ask question. I will.
A country where the youth dare not have a plan,
your faith is
as
your
they have
faith.
to flow according to the plan of the country.
This is the point.
Or the plan the country has for them. While ASU is on strike, the same youth will slavishly run and vote after the same politicians that put them in the same.
You will not bring that office.
I'm sorry to say,
that your
we
faith
can never be great. Like my brother here says, don't change.
You will run a government based on justice and fairness
a land where an engineer becomes a comedian for lack of jobs.
Why not?
And a general who becomes president acts comical, where a pastor tells you to pray for safety. They surround himself with armed guards and security personnel. And governors and legislators that promise you safety and security are chased away from their hometown by terrorists and bandits. Yet, the National Assembly would rather beg the president to act and activate his constitutional power of impeachment. He's not only working on a path to nowhere and sitting on a time bomb. And unless we collectively wake up, change our mindset and ways and do the right thing, soon the innocent ones will be in jail, while the guilty ones will be in leadership position. As it don't happen already. I will that's the reason why. It is not just the politicians that destroy our country. We all collectively did. By our silence in the face of ineptitude, our insincerity and acquiescence in the face of nepotism and favoritism, our complexity and consign-me attitude when things go wrong despite our individual strength.
Can I just ask a question before my brother responds?
If we change and insist on doing the right thing, or individually make collective sacrifice, not minding the danger or inherent benefits, just the way we do when we go abroad, I tell you, our politicians will take us seriously and do the right thing, as our tongue will be stronger than our voices.
It's a vice president or president. That is a fundamental problem in the country about managing pluralism that cannot be assuaged because one person has been made a vice president because he's a Christian, or another person has become a Muslim because he... This is a game that is being played by an elite that has identified faith as a decisive weapon for fighting each other. The people who have died, the lady who died with the 4 children who was murdered a few weeks ago in the southeast, the pregnant woman with 4 children who was slaughtered in the southeastern part of the country. She didn't die because Buhari is the president. Maybe the people who killed her there just killed her because she was
those who bring up the issue of Deborah.
Right. Exactly.
And there is another person in Abuja here. And these are recent issues that have brought concern to people. And we cannot ignore these kind of issues.
The problem is leadership. Everything rises and falls on leadership. Followers go as far as leaders can go. And that's why I made the case from the beginning that if my northern leaders who came together and say for equity's sake that it should be zoned to the south, come together to say for equity's sake, a Christian candidate from the north should be the vice presidential candidate. It means they will back what they say by talking to the people who follow them. Some of this, and I agree with Dr. Ahmed, most of the crises you see around, they are not so much of faith. They are more of communal issues, interest, insurgency, and then politicians also feed on them. And that is why, in my view, responsibility calls for people who hold certain positions to act. Like, I am not under the illusion that because people are agitating, the party will definitely get to pick Muslim and Christian. No. Mine is to provide my perspective in the hope that the party will consider informing their decision. Because if you believe in me over the years to support the government, to support the party, to defend the government, and at this time you say I should shut my mouth and not express my opinion regarding this matter, that I feel is important to my constituency where I come from, then I don't think you're being fair.
All right. Let's take a breather, everyone. There are some who are of the view that perhaps one of the major tasks of the next president of this country is to unite the nation. Perhaps all of these issues are not far away from what is characterizing our politics today. We'll take a break, and when we come back, our closing moment with Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed and Mr. Daniel Bwala. Thank you so much, everyone. Our closing moment now with Dr. Hakim Baba Ahmed, the spokesperson of the Northern Elders Forum. I'm a member of the PRP, and Mr. Daniel Bwala, a lawyer, member of the APC, and also members of the Lincoln team. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for coming now on the program. The conversation around the sensitivities of our polity and how we need to move forward. Now, in conclusion, on this conversation, is to the fact that numbers matter a lot in our politics. If you want to win an election, you need to look at the numbers. And you look at the northwest region of the country, you look at the southwest of the country, you consider the northeast of the country, you consider the south, and all of that. Now, the question is, and I'm not saying this because I know you have your party leanings, but I'd like to ask, how tough do you think this election, this particular cycle will be?
I think that it's going to be a lot less tougher than people think. I think the political consciousness is high, has been quite possibly highest I have seen since I became an adult. The 2023 will be a landmark election where the ordinary people will make a difference. And they will make, I think that they will make a choice based on their experiences. They will defy expectations. They will make nonsense of a lot of the permutations that are going on. The kind of things that politicians are putting store in will be ignored. I think that insecurity, poverty, divisions in the country are going to become major issues that people are going to vote on. And if I was to advise one single politician who is looking for office, I would say be very careful. Don't play to the wrong gallery. Pay attention to how ordinary people feel. They feel abandoned by leadership. They feel angry that they have been abandoned to violence. And they will vote for people, not so much for parties. They will vote for competence, not for faith or for your language. They will vote for a future for their children and not for the traditions of the party. That's my advice to that. And for the next leadership, they need to understand that this election, this 2023 election, will actually make a difference on whether the country survives entirely or goes down entirely.
Mr. Bwala, you think this is a make or ma, this election?
Well, analytics have actually analyzed, based on the dynamics we have on ground, that the first election may not present a clear winner in the first ballot. That it may call for a run. Because if you look at Kwankwaso dimension and Peter Obi dimension, then it is very likely that no political party will win and also secure all the 24. That's why some of us are giving our opinion that we believe is very important for the party, so that in one strike you win. You don't have to call for a recall, because if there is a recall, if there is a rerun, then this political party's alliance might be a problem for our party.
And there was a very, someone who challenged your candidate yesterday very strongly on the program here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you watch that?
Yes, Dino Melai. You know, he's comedic. And I think that he enjoys what he does. But those who watch, they know what is there or not. I was even surprised, quite frankly, that instead of focusing on issues, he was talking about personality. You are going to see the difference in this current dispensation in the electioneering campaign with the previous one. The two people on the two major political parties are Democrats, and they respect each other. So it's going to be an issue-based campaign where the progressive ideology of APC that believe in strong middle class, raising the taxes, providing safety net for the people, will be sold to the Nigerian people against PDP's belief that a free market economy with strong entrepreneurship is what will create jobs. We are going to educate the people, and I'm hopeful that the media also will help. Rather than people coming to the TV to say Asiwaju is 80 years, Asiwaju is not healthy, and then the other political
Can you take that away? Because the fact remains that the personalities and their capacity and fitness for office will also be challenged.
Fitness for office is there in the Constitution. Until and unless you have incapacity of the body of the mind, you are eligible. It's a mundane argument. And these people who come to argue, they may even have medical condition. Who don't they fall sick?
In English. I'm saying what is. I'm asking. I mean, you just spoken pidgin English.
Yes, what I'm saying is, as you are sitting asking me a question, you can fall sick. Dr. Ahmed can fall sick. I can fall sick. Do you understand? Asiwaju, in the last how many months I have met him? Around 2-something a.m. we were talking on an important issue. He was looking vibrant and strong. This man has traversed the length and breadth of this country not long after he had the knee surgery. And some senile people are talking about that he doesn't have health to become president.
You know, Mr. Boala, you have to forgive people up to a point. This country has paid tremendously from the illnesses, unfortunate illnesses of President Buhari.
But he was not sick when he got into office.
I understand that. But now they will learn a lesson. If you give them a candidate who is 55 or 60, and they look at a 75-year-old man, you have to forgive ordinary Nigerians if they say, we want our president in the villa, not all the time flying out of the country.
The skepticism is coming from somewhere. It has a history.
Yes, and it is informed by experience. That is why I'm saying, be very careful. A clever politician will be very, very careful about not repeating, not recreating the circumstances under which we live. And these two major parties, unfortunately, maybe they realize it, maybe they don't. They are just simply
certainly the 2023 election is not going to be a relay, boxing, wrestling, or football. It is a game of the intellect, ideas, and how you can deploy those ideas and create good governance.
And hopefully it should be a completely different game that does not reinvent the leadership that is just leaving.
We will ensure that.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been a very interesting conversation tonight.
Yes,
Dr. Akim Baba Ahmed, thank you so much. And Mr. Daniel Boala,
you,
what a civil conversation we've had tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. Right. Well, let's
Thank you so much for your patience to watch from the beginning to the end. I hope you have learned something from the video you have just watched. The video you have just watched is to bring information to your doorstep and for educational purpose. It is not to demonize anybody. Let us watch continuously and see who can be able to make a sense out of every nonsense we are seeing. We must continue. We move. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what they say. They will kill us. We'll kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra is here. Thank you for watching. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please kindly subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell so that you're notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you and remain blessed. Bye-bye. See you again.